Just take your time.
Well, I think the point with the law book, like we as people decided to put these laws on, and we people made them, and the laws of physics, no one made them; they were here.
How? So you are saying that no one made them. How are you sure that no one made them? This conclusion you have concluded like this, that no one has made them.
Yes,
These
I
laws,
can't.
physical laws. So this is a conclusion. I mean, you are inferring. But is it rational to conclude like that no one has made it? I mean, have you considered other possibilities that it may be
Yes,
created by
course.
someone
Of
else?
course, I have considered other. I mean, like as children, we grow up, and it's easier to explain stuff with God, and also family tells you, "Yes, God did that and that."
Jesus
But
Christ is the Savior of the world.
I think I don't know. I don't believe in it.
No, but it's okay. You don't believe, but we are saying that our beliefs should be rational or justified. No?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it is the fact that there exist laws.
Yes.
There exist laws. So now, what can we infer from this fact? Existence of laws. That means laws are being either laws have been created by someone else. Let remove that option.
For now,
third one. Yeah,
talk about it later.
Let take other options like that. Laws are eternal. It was existing forever earlier. No, laws were existing forever. Second one, laws have created themselves. No, and are implementing themselves. Okay,
Yeah.
like, and the third option is that someone has made it, created it, designed these laws, and then implementing or enforcing these laws in reality. That's why events are happening in a particular pattern.
So you're saying there are three possibilities.
Three possibilities.
One is something else made those laws and implementing this law. Laws themselves were created by themselves, self-created, or they were always there, eternally, without no beginning, eternal universe. These are three broad possibilities of why the laws are there.
Creation and implementation. Creation and implementation.
Yeah.
So, like, someone can write some laws in the abstract form in in a book or notebook.
Yes.
That does not make events happening according to these laws. Like any constitution, you can write a constitution of a country or a highway code,
Yes.
but that does not mean that the highway will run according to those laws until you enforce those laws
By something
with
else.
your abilities.
Some other conscious, willing, able, knowledgeable entities and agencies. The highway code is implemented by those conscious, knowledgeable, able entities or agencies. Otherwise, this book with its laws, if it's in a desert, it's not going to make highways and say this is red means stop and everyone has to. It's not going to happen.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And what's the point?
So that's why laws, we see in nature that there are laws and being implemented and events are happening. That's why even we are not conscious about these things, underlying reality of the of our world. Like we have taken many times the breathing. I mean, taken the oxygen and breathe it out. Yet we are not conscious. But the laws are operating like that. These laws are so precise that this has enabled all the abilities, our consciousness, and these things. So these laws are not just laws or constructed in a particular way. They are constructed in a particular way that is enabling the meaningful outcomes around us.
Yes.
So that means these laws, whenever it is being created, I mean, it should have been created by an intelligent, purposeful.
Now you're talking about
Yes.
the third option.
Yeah, third option.
Let's deal with the other two options.
Yes.
They themselves created themselves as law to operate. Before the laws were in existence, they were nothing. While they were nothing, non-existent, how can then they come into existence? They can't bring them into existence when they were nothing. So they cannot then say, oh, let me make all these laws of attractions, laws of gravity, laws of electromagnetism. Yeah? So that option is not very coherent. It
Yes,
doesn't
I
make
agree with
sense. The laws were always there, the other
Yes,
option.
I think that was true.
Now, if they're always there, the question is, so you're saying as a brute fact, the laws are always there, then there are lots of questions that comes following that. These laws are implementing. How are they implementing if they are not conscious? If they don't have a will? To give you an example, right? So if I was there in my office, in front of a computer,
Yeah.
a keyboard, now if I am not conscious, like I am totally been drugged or whatever, would I be able to write a letter on the computer by typing it? I'm totally, under anesthetics,
Yes.
or been with this drug that induces sleep, right?
Yeah.
I would not be able to do anything because I'm not conscious enough to write a letter. Now, suppose I am conscious. Now, I want to write a letter, but my hands are tied like this, my legs are tied, I can't move. And I don't have the technology to, with my eyes, just to this, and then start writing. I still have to type on the keyboard. Can I write a letter? I can't. Because even though I have consciousness and a will to write, I can't write. What if I didn't have a will? That I don't will to write. I'm just sitting there, I'm around, I'm in my office, I'm aware, today's Sunday, but I'm not willing to write anything. Would a letter be written by automatically from me? It will never be written. You have to will to write, okay, who am I writing to? To my boss. Tomorrow I'll meet you at 10 a.m., blah, 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 blah. If I don't have any of this intention, volition, or a will, my choice to write, this letter would not be written. It's not going to just automatically happen. So do you see now, to make a transformation or a change, you need to be aware of yourself as an agency. You need to have a will to do things, do that change or transformation, and you need to have ability or power to do so. These laws that was always there in our example option, if the laws were not aware that they exist, if they don't have the will to make transformation, I'm going to expand this universe from a singularity to an expanded universe. If they didn't have the ability to do so, no changes will occur.
Yes.
So now we have a problem. Now we are saying these laws are aware of themselves, they have a will, and they have ability. That's precisely the attribute, characteristics, or quality we give to the Creator. Someone who is self-aware of the existence, has the ability to make changes, and has a will, volition to make changes, makes changes by his will.
And he
So-
was there all the time.
Has to be, because if he wasn't there, then we have the same problem. I mean, at one point there was nothing. If there was nothing at one point, then something will not come from it. If in the past, say about 18 billion years ago, our world is what, 13.8 billion years ago. 18 billion doesn't even make sense, right? So if I were to go back time that far, or even beyond that, let's say there was absolutely nothing, then nothing will always be there. Something will not come out of nothing. Nothing has no existence. Nothing has no energy, no probability, no quantum fluctuations. Nothing is absence of everything. So if there was nothing, something will never come into existence. So that means if something exists now, there has to be always something in the past. Because that something, you and me, cannot be a result of at one point there was nothingness. Because if there was nothingness, there will always be nothingness. That's why even Professor Lawrence Krauss, you heard of him? Lawrence Krauss? He's a very well-known physicist. He wrote a book called The Universe from Nothing. And some people who've not read his book say, oh, there you go. The universe doesn't need a creator. He says the universe from nothing. But he explains in his book what he means by nothing. He means quantum fluctuations, quantum fields. That's something. And he's not shy to say, yeah, it's something.
And that requires
Right?
laws.
Right? And the laws. So basically, physicists today would never accept that the universe at one point could come from absolute nothingness. So the scientists would admit if something exists, something has to always, and the philosophers will say the same thing. If something exists today, something always has to exist. So that something cannot be simple laws or our universe in whatever form it is. Because it requires consciousness, awareness, will or volition, as we explained, and ability or power. And that is the three, and knowledge, of course, to make that transformation, four essential qualities that we say the Creator has. That's how you know the Creator to begin with. He exists, self-aware, made this universe with his will and ability and knowledge. So your explanation, which you will accept in your heart and mind, is the explanation where it's not nothingness, it's not self-creation, it's not eternally being there, but the one someone made it. This universe was made by someone who's conscious, willing, able,
Yes,
knowledgeable.
I understand what you're saying, and also you have a point. But only like if God exists. You're completely right. If God
It's
exists.
not, I'm not saying if, I'm saying God has to exist.
Yes, of course. But I say if He exists, you're right.
No, I'm saying
These
okay.
qualities or aspects should exist for this universe to exist.
If these qualities, the four qualities that we explained,
Yes, I understand your completely.
no, do you accept these qualities are necessary for our world as it stands today?
Either for laws or something eternally existing something or
Then
pre-existing something.
all this explanation we've given, you're saying transformation to happen in our universe, we don't need any of these four. I just said you have to have those things.
Yeah, we need to have some of those, but I don't think that.
Not some of them, all of them.
Like laws of like physics laws.
Yeah.
Need a conscious or something. I don't think that that's true.
If there's no consciousness, these laws were not conscious, how are they going to implement it?
They were there. They just work how
No,
they
no.
work.
How are they going to enforce? You see, like a highway code tells you, if you kill someone by traffic accident, you will be probably imprisoned and 10 whatever fine and penalty points, and your license will be taken away. It tells you that.
Yeah.
Would that piece of paper written those instructions go and then implement it in real life? It won't be able to.
By definition, laws can be in abstract form or implemented form. You know,
These
It's
abstract
basic
things-
characteristics of law. I mean, you cannot go out without considering these basic aspects of laws.
Maybe I just have like a language barrier, but abstract and implemented.
Abstract, like
What's the implemented law?
so implemented
Just-
law, like yeah, you can explain.
For example, the laws of gravity is such that if you have a bigger object,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
a smaller object,
Not really.
there will be an attraction of the smaller object to the bigger object.
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's why you don't float in space, because the Earth is pulling you.
Yeah.
That law doesn't know it exists, but it's an abstract thing. But it's making sure that it's implemented, that it's working, that it's enforced, that is in use. So to make that law in use, to come to make it happen,
So who gonna say
the law doesn't know that it exists. How can it do it
I
himself?
understand you now.
Yeah. That's why we say these essential characteristics are the characteristics we say of the creator, originator of our universe. The universe itself cannot do these things unless you say the universe has those properties. Then you make the universe like the creator, like the originator, like God. You're giving the godly attributes to the universe. That's the only difference. But
There should be something which possesses these qualities, essential
Why didn't you
qualities,
call the police?
like will, awareness, ability, and knowledge. Otherwise, you cannot
in London.
have this universe consistently in a consistent view.
So bad.
You cannot have it. You cannot consistently explain
London is not good for you.
the existence of this universe in this manner with meaningful creations, meaningful outcomes like us.
So you talking
You
about
cannot
you being robbed.
explain any of this happening except these four qualities, essential qualities. You should be there. Now, whatever is possessing these qualities, you can name it God or something like that. But that's
you might have difficulty to call it God, but you can call it the agency. It's the agency, right? Like the Matrix.
Something
It's
possesses
the
these
agency.
qualities.
The agency has those qualities. And then you say, okay, fine, that agency is self-aware. Wow, conscious. So this agency, self-aware, willed to has a will? Why? Do you see how it's opening up to further questions to understand that agency? That's why we say the agency, which has all these qualities and characteristics, is the very minimal understanding that one can have about the creator of this universe. And then you can find that this agency, this originator of this universe, actually communicates to the creation, telling us why we are here in this way. Because you might be wondering, what am I doing here in this life? And what could happen to me after I die anyway? What's my purpose in life? People can come up with different ideas and different kind of theories, but these will be all speculations.
We're not saying that God
Yes.
is like man or weird people.
Yeah.
Someone is standing. I don't know.
The originator will also have other qualities, which we need to now really highlight some of them. Will be free from any deficiencies, weaknesses. Will have to be absolute, independent. Cannot depend on something else. If you have this agency creator depending on something else, then who is that something else? Greater? Eventually you come to a point where you have to come to a point you say, this thing is the non-contingent, the one who is totally self-sufficient, independent.
Yeah.
Because there has to be.
I have a question about. Can I ask what you
Yeah, of
believe
course,
in?
of course. We are Muslims, we believe in Islam. We believe in one absolute self-sufficient, independent creator, God, who created us with his will to fulfill one of our purposes.
Yeah.
Because life is not given or created as a mere play and just, but for a noble purpose. To fulfill a certain role in our life, to acknowledge our creator, be thankful, grateful to our creator, be living our life with a certain code of life in which we make sure that everyone is fulfilling their rights, not committing oppression, injustice. I'm sure your tells you that you are against injustice and oppression. Yes, we should be living our life in this kind of righteousness in life. No oppression, no tyranny, no aggression, but living mutually in harmony and peace and justice. And as we die, we will be resurrected again and will be judged according to what we believed. Did we really acknowledge our Creator? And did we do all these righteous deeds, actions? And then if we are ones who've done this, through God's mercy, we will go to a place of eternal happiness and joy, tranquility, bliss, contentment, comfort. And those who become a rebel against God and say, no, there is no God, and they commit injustice in this world, associate partners with the Creator, and die on that state, for example, they will go to a place of misery, suffering. It's the justice of God, the Creator. So that's what the Islamic belief system is.
Yeah.
And to make sure this belief system is something that you and I can accept it comes from the Creator sending prophets and messengers, and the last of them being Prophet Muhammad, ﷺ, given a book called the Quran, the guidance, in which there is proof and evidence, so that when you read it and you understand it, you know it has to be from God. It has to be from the agency, from the Creator, because it cannot be from anyone else otherwise. Because otherwise you can believe in Harry Potter. You know Harry Potter? Someone said the Harry Potter is the book that I should believe in. No. Any book can make claims, but the Quran has been given by our Creator, and He has the most beautiful names and attributes. We call Him the most loving, the most just, the most forgiving, the most merciful. Yeah? And He's called Allah. The one your heart and your mind will know that there is no form to concentrate on. There is no feminine form. There is no masculine form. There is no plural form. A unique concept of the agency, the Creator, the originator, in which you can connect to. That's Allah. That's the name given to us to connect to.
Yeah. But can I, sorry to interrupt you. I often ask myself, like, why did He, like, go, the Earth exists like a bit longer than 2,000 years.
4 point something billion years,
Yeah.
right?
Why did He, like, why did He show Himself, I say so, like 2,000 years ago?
He didn't show Himself 2,000 years ago.
Yes,
This is
well,
a-
2,000 years ago, like, Islam was created, no?
No. This is where I think this is where the misunderstanding is. God created this earth. Quran tells us in many of the surah, like roughly translated as a chapter of the
Yeah, I
Quran,
know.
how He created this universe, how He made this earth, how He formed all this, made it cool down, made it become stable, and then created vegetations and other living forms. And eventually at one point, human beings were created. So human beings were created much, much later than many other living entities, right? Because that human being was able to get something from the trees, or something to eat from other things, right? So this human being, we don't believe it's like only 2,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago like some Christians do, okay? It was the first human being that appeared in this world created by God, right? And there were other creations beforehand. This human being was given this message that you can live in this life as you wish, but do not do all of these things, but also be grateful to God, your creator, and live life accordingly. The message that was given is known as the message of Islam. Submission, surrender, or your acceptance willingly of what the creator has willed. That is Islam, and one who does that is a Muslim. So the first human being was a Muslim, his religion was Islam, and then throughout the time in history, this message was continued from him and from his children. Some of them became prophets or appointed by the creator, Allah, prophets. But again, at some point, people made some misjudgment and they started saying, no, that's our God and this is God, and started worshipping things of the creation. Started worshipping the sun and the moon and the waters, thunder, Thor. You've heard of Thor, God of thunder. These things happen over the centuries. But God, our creator, Allah, sends prophets again to remind them, no, these are not something to be worshipped. These are all creation, or your ideas and your thoughts and things like this. You should worship only the creator of all of the cosmos, right? So this is
like described in the Quran, or is it
in the Quran?
How you explain it?
This is in the Quran.
Okay.
So this is how the God has told us about the historical reality of the past. People did this and they made their error in doing so. God sends another prophet to remind them. Some of them accepted it, some of them didn't. That's always been the case. Because it's up to the people to believe or not to believe. And in this line of prophets and messengers, in some of the reports we have 124,000 of the prophets were raised in different time periods. But what the Quran says, most importantly, there has been not a single community which did not receive a warner. God sent a warner to all nations and all communities, otherwise he'll be unjust. He tells them to the owner, don't do this, avoid worshipping the creation, the false gods and deities, but worship God only. So the last of them is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being the final messenger of Islam. So Islam is not a new religion. Islam is the only acceptable religion from day one until the world is going to come to an end. So the message of Islam is something very simple. You sincerely and willingly submit your will. That's not by force and coercion. So no one can put a gun on you and say, okay, become a Muslim or I'm going to blow your house or something like that. Not appropriate, not acceptable, totally unjustified. This is not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be your willing submission and surrender. That's what Islam is. With ikhlas and istislam, willing submission and surrender. So what you submit and surrender to, you submit and surrender to the will. As we were talking about the will of God as expressed through His messenger, final messenger. So the Quran has been given to him, which tells you these are the things you should do. Look, do not kill, do not lie, do not cheat, do not oppress, do not harass the people, do not insult, and so on. All of these do's and don'ts. But be charitable, be nice, be compassionate, be merciful, respect your mother and your father. You know, when they reach old age, extend the wings of mercy. Do not even say oof to them. Quranic instructions. So all of these do's and don'ts are there for our benefit, own benefit. But as we implement those things in this life, this will make us then to be recipient of God's mercy. Because you are being a willing submitter, He has guaranteed and promised you paradise, which is awaiting in the hereafter. Because He could have simply said, you know what, why all of this? All of this, why people have to go through, let's get rid of this first step. Let's put people straight into heaven, straight into hell. Because He knows the outcome. Because He's all knowledgeable. Remember what we said about the agency, the creator? He's free from all weaknesses and deficiencies. So if He has knowledge, He's not a little bit knowledge, that's complete knowledge. That means He knows the past, present and the future. There is no deficiency in this knowledge. So God, our creator, Allah, knows the future. So if that is the case, why did He go through putting us into this life of test and then putting people in the day of judgment, say, okay, fine, this is what you've done. So because of that, you're going to go to heaven. Because of this, you're going to go to hell. Yeah, you could have simply said, what's the point? Put straight to people who would have behaved in a good way to paradise, behaved arrogantly and the wrong way into hell. People, if you went there, if God put you into paradise, would you complain? In your heaven, with happiness and joy, you would not complain. You would be so grateful and so happy. But people in hellfire, I'm sure they will complain. They'll say, oh God, what have we done? I haven't done anything. You created me and put me straight into hellfire. That's a bit unjust, isn't it? You'll say. You'll say, God, I thought you were just and you put me into hellfire straight away. But if God says, look, but I knew what you're going to do. So I spared all of that time. I put you into hellfire. They'll say, oh no, I haven't done anything. Give me the chance. Let me know. Let me see for myself whether I was good or bad. That's why, to remove that excuse, the wisdom is there to make sure in this life people have been given the opportunity to see whether you are really an oppressor or unjust or not, whether you are a rapist or not, whether you're really a good, righteous individual or not. You can see for your own self. And then in the day of judgment, when you're resurrected back again, you will know all of this will be presented to you in records. Because now what we have in our belief system, scribes writing on our left, on our right, on our left. All the things that we do, good, writing, being transcribed, and all the bad that we do, being transcribed. So everything will be presented. It's not a very alien concept anymore. Do you know why? But now we know we can record in digital media, right? In magnetic discs and so on. So there are scribes with us left and right, who are transcribing all of that. Not even that. Even our hands and our feet will be given the opportunity to testify. Oh, look, this is the hand that went and stabbed an individual, an innocent individual, and killed. Switch the button and then send all these aeroplanes and drones with bombs. The hand will testify. The legs will testify. This is the leg that went and you raped that woman. And so on and so forth. Because now even know, you know what? Now many things we know by science is possible. So in the day of judgment, when an individual is then resurrected and their book is presented, of book of deeds, the good and the bad, what you've done, you will have no excuse to say, I didn't do it. You'll be visible in front of you. So there will be no excuse remain there. People will say, oh, send us back. Those people who go to hellfire, they will plead with the gatekeepers, you can call them guards, right, of the angels or in the hellfire. Oh, can you ask God to give me another chance? Send us back. Oh God, I'll be good. I will behave. I won't do all these bad things anymore. I will believe in you. I will submit my will to you. They will plead all of these things. Quran talks about many of these instances. But they will be not given a chance. Saying, look, you had the chance. And messengers, prophets, warners came to you, telling you, warning you, reminding you all of that. But you were too busy with your life. You said, I don't have time. Oh, no. Oh, that's not true. They will have this regret, but they will never come out. That's why the Quran, an interesting guidance from God, this book, final book, tells us about those events of the future in the book. What people will do, what they will plead, God send us back. But there will be no coming back. That's why in this life, we really have to awaken ourselves and say, this is the only life that we have, not like some beliefs where you're born again if you do bad, like a rat or a dog, and then you become good by doing some goodly doggy action, and then you become a human being. There is no such thing, belief in system like that in Islam, because it doesn't make sense, cycle of birth. And like imagine now somebody says, you know what, I like women. And then this individual goes on and raping every woman he likes, and says, he knows the outcome. The law of karma is, okay, I'm going to have another life in which I might come less than a man. Maybe I become a chicken. And then after living a life like a chicken, I'll come back eventually to a life again. These will not stop people from committing evil. And that's why many belief systems, and this is what I want people to really think, when they deeply understand their reincarnation belief system, that's why they keep on doing all of these bad things. Because they don't care, because they know they're going to come back again and have another chance. That's why I'm saying there will be another chance. There will not be another chance. Islam tells you there will be only one chance in this life. You need to utilize it properly, because death comes and that's the end of your chances. But do we know when we're going to die? Do I know when I'm going to die? No one knows. God knows. So we have to make sure before we die, we surrender ourselves to our Creator, our Lord, Allah. We submit in our heart, profess with our tongue that yes, there is no God worthy of worship except you, and for Muhammad is the messenger of God. And you manifest this belief in your actions. In your actions, you do what is good, you avoid what is bad. And when you die, you know the guarantee given by God, a promise given by God that you will be in a happy place in heaven, in paradise, in Jannah. That's the message of Islam. It's not something that you have to, be so crooked and twist to believe in something. All of that makes sense here and here. Intellectual, rational, reasonable. Your heart will also accept it and it will resonate with it. Makes sense.
I work as a cyber security consultant.
This is why we asking, when I ask you, are you a Muslim? Because that's what everyone should be asking. Why am I not a Muslim? Why am I not a Muslim? People should be asking if you're not. Because that is the reality of things. You should be a submitter to God. So if you're not a Muslim, ask yourself, what's the obstacle? You can ask, what is the obstacle? Your obstacle was like you've had a worldview, the paradigm called atheism, you're an atheist. That sort of makes a difference, saying, how can I be a Muslim when I'm an atheist? Now that we have explained to you, the atheism is not rational. What makes sense is a belief in an agency with will, with power, with knowledge, with self-awareness, essentially believing in Allah who created this universe. So you are no longer an atheist or an agnostic or a deist or a theist, you're a monotheist. Look how many steps. You're a monotheist. That monotheist is a monotheist, believe in one God in Islam. Because you cannot make your heart to believe in more than one God who's absolute. Because you know there will be conflict of will. If there was more than one God, there will be chaos in this universe. It's cold now, right, isn't it? One God says like, he's feeling cold. Sunshine, let it be like Barbados. Now, 40 degrees. Why does it happen? Because there seems to be one entity, agency controlling all our universe. That's why the earth rotates always like that, and it doesn't tomorrow goes the other way. So the sun is from the west, or it just jumps up and down from its orbit. It doesn't do that because it follows a particular way. Everything in our universe, the atoms, the electrons, the quarks, everything in this motion is following a specific way, showing there's only one controller, one designer, one creator. If there was more than one, there will be chaos. People who believe in polytheism, tritheism, right? Whether they're Christians and whether they're Hindus and so on, all of that, your heart and mind will reject. These are all polytheistic belief systems. A polytheistic belief system is a believing in more than one absolute.
Asking for an argument for why Christianity is considered paganism.
Is a heckler. So let's move here from a heckler, because if he comes and follows us, the police will come and tell him off. Just come here, that's it.
Ask him why Christianity is pagan.
Yeah.
Also, ask why the proof of
Okay.
the one God.
No, just here, that's fine. So if he now follows, please go and report to the police. Okay, continue.
I'm still following.
Yeah.
Report me. How about that? No?
Can someone go and report to the police? This guy is harassing. So,
That's fine. When you come over,
does it make sense?
We're flying like an
Oh, no, I'm not going to keep you any longer then. I don't want to miss your
I
flight.
just want to say yes, I just wanted to let you
get me
know
full-
not to be disrespectful, just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure speaking to you. What's your name?
Adrian.
Arian.
Yes.
Are you from Germany or where from?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I'm a Muslim. My name is Mansur, and this is my brother Sawar. We would like you to become a Muslim. Read the Quran, read the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Does anyone have a copy of the Quran? Can we offer you a copy of the Quran as a gift?
Yeah.
Thank you. And don't delay becoming a Muslim, as I said, because
I
the
won't delay.
only belief system that will make sense to you is going to be Islam. Yeah, that's the only belief system. You can examine as many belief systems as you want. Yeah, it's the information age. Learn about other belief systems. See which one makes sense. If polytheism makes sense, ask yourself, how can it do so? As we have explained. If tritheistic, triunetheistic Christian belief system makes sense, ask yourself, how does it make sense? There can only be one absolute. There cannot be God with a lesser God and a demigod and a semi-God and a little God. Yeah,
Actually,
it cannot exist. It makes no sense. So this is why many other belief systems are like that. The only belief system currently is what you should be looking at is Islam
Find each other.
through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the Quran. So read the Quran more, and ask yourself, when am I going to be ready before suddenly I'm dead and I'll be too late, become a Muslim. Don't delay, because you are a person of justice and fairness. Be just to yourself too. Like, I want to be just to myself, that I do not end up by my negligence in hellfire. But hellfire is no joke.
And a displeasure of God. I mean, God
And
likes you to be.
yeah, and displeasure of God. God wants you to reach out to Him, to believe in Him. He doesn't want anyone to go to hellfire. God doesn't want anyone to be burnt or tortured in hellfire. So that means you need to really make that effort. Our Prophet ﷺ explained, if someone makes an effort with a handspan, yeah, God comes to him like an arm span. If you come like one arm span to him, God comes like two arm span. If you come to him walking, God will come to you running. In the sense what? That if you make an effort, God will reach out to you. God will make it easy for you, right? So this is a copy of the translation of the Quran in English. A gift to you. Yeah, we're just leaving.
Pray before you touch it.
Pleasure speaking to you, and you have a safe journey.
Yeah, too. Thank you.
Thank you. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Okay, I'll prove to you Jesus is God right now.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, can I take a picture with you? I know you from YouTube.
Can I
Sorry.
finish the conversation?
Take a picture.
Position, inshallah.